Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 184, recorded today, June 14th, 2018. On tonight's episode, we discuss everything E3 that Nintendo's done, plus all the late-breaking news and controversies, and why does Sony not play nice with Nintendo? Who knows? I just rolled out of bed 15 minutes ago, and yet I'm here. By the way, Zach's not, but a really cooler Zach is. Jesse's here, of course. So, Jesse, cue the music. In post. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good day, good afternoon. This is the Nintendo Dads podcast, your weekly dose of the Nintendo nerdy, my tongue twisted. Your weekly dose of the Nintendo nerdy news you need to know right now. There we go. Slowed it down because I'm waking up a little bit. The allergy medicine hasn't quite kicked in yet. Guys, I am here with some of the coolest two co-hosts around to break down everything that's happened this week for Nintendo's news. Of course, first and foremost, joined by the king, the lord overthrower, and who sits on his high-crowned throne, Mr. Jesse Waldack from VG Tribune. How are you today, sir?
Good, and I am literally cooler because I now have air conditioning again.
That's exciting.
It is literally 15 degrees cooler in this room than it was yesterday when we
awesome.
Recorded a show. It is, so
I have a level of excitement for you.
I am happy. I am comfortable.
Man, I'm very happy for you. I'm very you've been sweating out for a while. Speaking of a man who's hopefully not going to be sweating out too much for us tonight, Zach, how do you say your last name?
Bohannon.
Bohannon.
Scottish, not Irish.
Oh, well, there you go, eh? Zach Bohannon, who is going to be joining us.
The other side of the pond, is that what they call it?
Yeah, the other side of a smaller pond. Yeah, exactly. Who's going to be joining us in the co-hosts seat tonight. We kicked out Zach Erickson. Zach Bohannon has come in here. Now, truth, we got a message about 4 or 5 minutes ago before we started. Zach Erickson said, I won't be able to be on. I said, that's fine. We have now replaced Zach Erickson with what shall now and forever be referred to as Cooler Zach. So Cooler Zach, we are so happy to have you on the show today. You made a great observation actually about Smash. So could you share that with us?
Yeah, I think that this might be the only Nintendo podcast out there where all three hosts don't really care about Smash. So it's a rarity.
And so now all of a sudden, everyone who's listening to our podcast right now goes, and stop, delete. I'll come back next week. We'll see what happens. So hopefully you haven't, but we are going to break down some of that. We're going to talk, of course, a little bit about Smash as well. So let's get into it. But of course, let's get, my allergy medicine is still working. Let's get into the news today, shall we?
We shall.
Do it.
Jesse, the news is brought to us. Jesse, who is the news brought to us by?
It is brought to us by our wonderful, beautiful patrons.
Look at that. It's smooth as butter, right? I just throw it over to you. You're like, I know this. It's done by Patreon. Of course it is done by amazing patrons who are supporting us over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. And there's a couple names I want to bring to your attention right now. Phoenix Moore, who has been part of our community for a while. We're happy to have him never left our community, really. But Phoenix, thank you very much for your recent pledge. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. And I also want to talk about Brad. I'm horrible at names. Kaboski, who adjusted and upped their pledge as well. So thank you so much for your continued support of us here at Nintendo Dads as well. We are very close to a new goal that we have set internally. And once we reach that goal, we are going to be giving away our pair of Joy-Cons that we've been having for a while. So we've got a set of Splatoon Joy-Cons, and we are a couple dollars away from that new level that we have kind of internally marked. So as soon as we hit that, we're going to be giving that away, which is fantastic. And of course, we have got a 3DS we're going to be giving away here coming up in July or August as well to our Patreon supporters. So you're like, hey, whoa, what is Patreon? And this sounds like amazing stuff. Head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads. Give us a bit of scratch. That's how we pay for the show. That's enough of the show. Let's get on to how we actually, let's stop talking about how we do the show. Let's just do the show, shall we? So let's jump right into the news. Jesse, what do you got here? I'm still kind of waking up here. So what's some news items you want to bring to our attention?
Okay, so well, most of the news is pretty much still E3 stuff, and we did our what I called bonus episode 7 yesterday morning, which we talked about the Nintendo Direct. So I really don't care to rehash that again. If we can talk about it later. If it comes up with any questions. But what I wanted to talk about was just everything else that we didn't get a chance to talk about yet.
Okay. Can before we jump in that, I'd like to this cool Zach. What would you rate the Nintendo Direct before we do that?
So I went in with, kind of with expectations of, again, like reiterating, I'm not a Smash fan. I'm actually not a Pokemon player either. So my wallet is actually.
I'm really hoping you love Mario Party.
Yeah, so my wallet was actually kind of like taking a breather, but I went in knowing that, and so my expectations were pretty low, but the first half of the Direct I thought was really good, but then I think, as you guys kind of mentioned on your bonus show, the pacing just kind of got totally lost when they went into Smash, and it wasn't even because I didn't care about it. It was just like, I feel like that they could have saved a lot of the stuff for the Treehouse, and maybe instead of doing that really quick sizzle reel that they did, maybe they could have spent a little more time on some of those games. For instance, like we were talking in Discord and I said, "Oh, Wastelands 2," and you were like, "What was that? I didn't even see that."
Right.
Pop up.
I linked, I think, during that episode or that section of it.
Yeah, like they didn't need to necessarily like show all the changes in the characters. And my favorite part, I don't know if anyone caught this, but was when they kind of threw the Wii Fit people under the bus. I don't know if y'all noticed that. It was really, but he was like, "Yeah, the Wii Fit people really didn't want me to change their character, but I did it anyway." Like, I thought that was really awkward.
Well,
I was like,
the way I understood it is they wanted her face to change, so they did.
I thought it was the other way around. So,
yeah.
But
the face enhancements was at a request of the Wii Fit developer team.
Got it. The way it was worded, it sounded like they were totally. But anyways, so knowing what my expectations were going in, I'd probably give it C+. I would say probably for me, just because there wasn't a whole lot there I was interested in that I didn't already know about.
Sure.
So but yeah.
Okay, good, excellent, cool, Zach. Appreciate that one. So Jesse, let's break down what you got there.
Okay, so I took notes of every press conference, and in a separate file, I detailed everything out, whether it dealt with Nintendo or not. I won't go over that. But if anything has to do with the Switch in any way, then I kind of made a note of it. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over. So with EA, I only have 2 bullets. One is, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, I think. The FIFA 18 is getting a new World Cup mode that's free DLC on all platforms, including the Switch. And
so you could play that, or you could just go get Soccer Slammers. But sure, okay.
And if you didn't buy FIFA 18, you could get it for free for like a week on every system except for the Switch.
That sounds about right.
I don't know why, but okay. And then FIFA 19 is coming to the Switch later on this year. They didn't mention it in the event, but it is getting a release.
Okay.
And then next, Microsoft. Still didn't get a chance to see it yet, but I'm not expecting any Switch announcements from that.
I saw it. They didn't do anything.
Okay.
Moving on.
Big surprise. Okay. Bethesda had a few bullets. They started off with kind of a sizzle reel of just watching people playing their games, and the Switch did get a mention, a visual mention. I don't know what the right word I'm thinking of is, but they acknowledge that the Switch is a thing. Okay, then I think it's a card game. The Elder Scroll Legends will be coming later on to Switch, Xbox One, and PS4.
Yeah, that's a mobile port.
Yes, it's on mobile now, and it's coming to consoles later on. Then Wolfenstein 2, we already knew about that. So coming to Switch June 29. Fallout Shelter launched that night. I think it was Monday night for PS4 and Switch. So that's now available. And there's another new mobile game called Elder Scrolls Blades that'll be a free-to-play game. They didn't specify exactly what consoles that it's going to go on, but they did say they want it on as many devices as they can. So I'm presuming Switch is in that list.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if they put forth the effort to put Legends and Fallout Shelter, I'm sure they'll do Blades as well.
Yeah.
There will be cross-platform multiplayer coming later this year.
Cool, Zach. Did you watch the Bethesda and anything coming out of that you kind of were interested in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Bethesda fan.
Nice.
Like I love Fallout and I love Elder Scrolls, and so I was one of the people who was really hoping for the Fallout 3 Anniversary Edition announcement,
Yeah.
which didn't happen. But yeah, one thing they didn't mention, and you could say the same thing with EA, like there were certain games where they didn't necessarily mention what platforms games were coming to. And so, like, one in the Bethesda showing that came to my mind was Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
And like, because Doom was on Switch, so like it makes sense for them to try to get the sequel onto it.
Yeah.
And I played Doom on Switch. I beat it on Switch. I loved it. Same thing with EA. I have a feeling that game Sea of Solitude is going to come to Switch. They didn't say what platforms it's going to be on, and I have a feeling that one's going to end up on Switch.
Yeah, I would. I would actually definitely agree with you with that one, and I think that one I'm keying up on a little bit more, and the reason is that one is actually I did see at the end of one of the trailers for that they did show it was a PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
I do think it will come to the Switch because it's an EA original. The last EA original was a multi-platform, and that was Faye.
Yeah, that's what kind of got me thinking about that. So, I mean, that seems like something that Nintendo might want to announce at a direct.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, as far as Bethesda, I mean, again, like Fallout Shelter is not the Fallout game I wanted on Switch. I have that on my phone. I mean, I downloaded it, haven't opened it yet. But Elder Scrolls Blades looked somewhat interesting, but like I would rather just play Skyrim on my Switch. So, as far as Switch related stuff, there wasn't really much there. There was some stuff that I be interested in for PS4, but but Wolfenstein 2, I guess, the only like Switch confirmed thing that I am interested in. So
yeah, and it's interesting, as we kind of talked about, you talked a little bit about Fallout there, and obviously Bethesda's work with Doom and Wolfenstein. Yesterday Reggie did mention that more ports are coming, and that we can expect to hear more about ports. So I wouldn't be shocked if Fallout 3 or something like that is announced, but now wasn't the right time for it. Then maybe they want to announce it in a couple months from now when it's due out in, I don't know, December or January. So I wouldn't be shocked if it actually shows up. I just don't think they announce it here.
Yeah, the only thing with that is like that's very possible, but like that'll also be a cross-platform game. So I could see them doing that if they want to just save it for Nintendo to announce it later. But like, I mean that game will be on PlayStation 4 and Xbox and probably PC as well. So I'm not going to hold on my hope for that one, but I mean fingers crossed that maybe it'll happen, because I'm definitely not interested in Fallout 76. I don't like the always online aspect of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
Yeah, because it works so well for The Sims.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse, what else is on that docket?
So Square Enix, there's 2 bullets here. Dragon Quest XI is coming to PS4 and PC September 4th. And at the time, I was wondering, why didn't they mention the Switch and 3DS? And then I remembered, they said back in March that 3DS was not getting localized and Switch will be later.
Much later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the quote, much later.
So, not this year. 2019 if we're lucky. So I'm still thinking about maybe getting on the PS4, but since I very rarely have the time to sit in front of my TV, especially for a game of that size. I'll probably just end up waiting for the Switch.
Yeah.
Then Octopath Traveler, releasing July 13th. Yes, they did spell out what all 8 classes were, but that's really it. There wasn't any new information that we didn't already know. And apparently, what they didn't say is that we found out yesterday that there's a new demo that hit today. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so hopefully I
haven't either.
get to it for next week. And we'll we'll see if it changes my mind on that game or not.
I already have it pre-ordered, so I'm now trying to decide whether I want to go ahead and play the 3 hours now, or if I want to just wait and play it all at once. So
Will it let you move it over if you do?
they said in the direct the data will transfer.
Okay, good, because
So
that's that's what I didn't like about Dragon Quest Builders.
yeah,
Is that what we played in the demo didn't carry over, and it was a downer on me when
I think a lot of people missed that in the announcement because I saw a lot of people saying like, well, why did they put another demo out? That's stupid. And I was like, did you miss, like, for one, the demo that came out before was like an old build of the game. And they also said that the data transfers over. So like, it makes sense for them to do a demo now. So
right.
a new one. So.
Okay. So Ubisoft is next. They said the new Trials game, the motorcycle die-a-lot type of game. There's a closed beta happening later this year. It'll release next February, and that'll be coming to all platforms, including Switch. Then they talked about Mario and Rabbids DLC, which almost every showing had some sort of live music going on. Ubisoft won the music show for me.
Yeah, that one was good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's coming out June 26th. Then,
I'm sorry, you missed something very important by Ubisoft.
what did I miss?
Just dance, Jesse. Just dance.
Oh, good point. Yeah, technically I should have mentioned it, but yeah, that's actually
There's no technically there. They had a dancing panda for 3 minutes, Jesse.
and he was epic.
I was hoping that like at the end of it he was going to take his head off and that was going to be the president of Ubisoft.
I thought
Who had been like practicing for 3 months
they
as
were
a
going to
dancer.
pull a Teddy and just be nothing inside.
Did they announce if that was coming to Wii?
Yes.
I believe they did
Yes,
actually.
it is
Oh, I
coming.
was totally. Are you serious? I was
Yeah,
trying to make
yeah.
a joke.
It's coming to Wii, Wii U, Switch, not PS4. It's coming to Xbox One and Xbox 360 if you have Kinect.
Wow.
Yep.
That I was totally making a joke.
No, yeah,
Yes. No, like the biggest joke in the industry is how long is Just Dance going to be supported on the Wii?
In fact, when
Apparently, at least until 2019.
I saw the announcement, I didn't hear Wii U, so I thought, are they releasing it on Wii and Switch, but not Wii U? But no, they are releasing it to Wii U as well.
So I wonder which one Nintendo will abandon first. Will they quit putting Just Dance on Wii, or will they quit making allowing Smash players to use the GameCube controllers? Because you got to think that they're going to cut that off at some point. You know,
I bet you the
with one of
GameCube controllers go before Just Dance does.
Probably so. As many Wiis as they sold, probably so.
Yeah, so I actually, I put in a pre-order for another GameCube controller and the adapter.
Nice.
Okay, so next was Starlink Battle for Atlas. So this is something that we knew was coming. We didn't have a release date. We now know it's October 16th. And we didn't know that it'll have Switch exclusive content.
If you haven't, guys, I did a little bit of a conversation piece about this. Head over to our YouTube channel. The video is titled "Why Star Fox Needs to Be in Starlink," because I actually think this is one of the smartest moves that Ubisoft and Nintendo have done in a while, and I think it actually satisfies a little bit of a stopgap for them. So check that video out. But I think this is a very interesting partnership. I'm gonna be honest. Cool, Zach, are you into this like plastic toy thing that's going on with this game?
I'm not into spaceship games like
Okay.
this, and I'm
Okay.
not into the Toys for Life. So I might have been interested in it until I saw it was Toys for Life, and now I'm definitely not into it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like I don't mind space games. It had a kind of a No Man's Sky feel at some of the points of it. Looked very interesting. I was like, okay, cool. I'm slightly interested. And then they introduced Star Fox. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm very interested. And then all of a sudden they're like, and here is the Joy-Con set of toys that you need. And I was like, I'm out.
Now let me ask this, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of tuned out when I saw this. But like, are you in the ship the whole time? Is it like, or can you get out of the ship, or is it just a ship like shooter game?
It looks like a ship shooter game.
Okay, that's what I'm. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
because
what I'm not into.
And then as
When
you build your ship and parts, add parts to it on the controller, it actually affects the game. They showed a little bit of a Treehouse yesterday. Like they added something to a wing, and you could actually see the weight of that on the wing. It affected it, and it took a while to rebalance.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and you apparently like it's you. There's a grip that you basically imagine your current like Joy-Con grip that you got, and then there's like a spaceship that comes out above it.
I did see that. Okay, yeah,
Like,
I
oh
saw
my
that in the
God.
treehouse.
And it looks, and I don't know if you could play it without that thing, or if you could buy it without that thing. Like, it looks like an okay idea. I think it's the Star Fox game. I think it's a good reboot of a Star Fox franchise.
Yeah.
And yet, you're like, and you have to buy this R-Wing toy thing. And I'm like, no. Amiibo at least is optional in most cases, right? This is I was interested in the partnership and not interested in the plastic garbage. But I'm sure, like, if I was an 8-year-old boy, mind blown.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this would be like
So-
all up in this thing.
Well, well, go ahead, Jesse. Sorry.
So the way the gameplay looks like it goes, you have to kind of balance your firepower with your mobility. So if you weigh yourself down, you won't be able to be as mobile. But if you lighten yourself up, then you'll have less firepower. I think that was kind of what I took out of it.
I perked up for a second when Justin said No Man's Sky, because I was thinking like, oh, you can actually gather ship and go like explore planets, but no, it doesn't sound
No,
like
just
that.
the art style had a little bit
Gotcha.
no man's Sky. Yeah.
I'll tell you from a business standpoint though, how smart is this for Ubisoft? Because
Yes.
like they basically get to make a Star Fox game that they can sell on all platforms.
Yep.
So, it's just not going to have Star Fox in, obviously, on the other systems, but they're not, just limited to Switch, but they know the Switch version is going to, there's a lot of hype behind this game. So,
Yeah.
It's going to sell gangbusters, even just because having Fox McCloud.
And my flip of that is, how smart is it for Nintendo to make a Star Fox game with minimal effort, minimal risk,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And take a C
absolutely.
or B character that's flailing and actually give them a bit of time.
Absolutely.
Though
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if Nintendo just doesn't have carts that size, or Ubisoft isn't wanting to invest in it. But the game will require a 15 gig download in addition to the content on the cart.
Oh, that's massive.
That's pretty big download.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Could you imagine that? I just got a brand new Switch. Half my data is now this game.
Right.
That stuff doesn't bother me, honestly. Like, whenever I buy a PS4 game and buy the disc, I have to load the whole game onto the PS4 anyway. So it's like, I don't know. To me, that's not that big.
And that'll be 50 or 60 gigs. And
Yeah.
if you're a Call of Duty and you have to download all the DLC, each game will have 90 gigs on it. My son has like 3 Call of Duty games on our PS4. So
Yeah, I'm constantly having to manage my downloads on my PS4. So like doing it like with this, like that kind of stuff on the Switch, it doesn't bother me.
he bought World War II a few weeks ago, and we actually had to clean the fridge, for the first time, because I have a 2 terabyte drive in that thing, and we still had to clean the fridge out.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so we're going back to Starlink. So the starter kit will retail it for $75 for the game and your additional goodies.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, no thanks.
But,
No thanks.
All right. So,
Stoked for people who are, but it's
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
kind of scrolling past the Nintendo stuff, because we talked about that yesterday. So
Yeah.
I have a few bullets of announcements that were made, not in a conference, but just through the press talking with people and then publishing it.
Okay.
So Dust and Elysian Tale, which started out as a 360 game, eventually came to PC and PS3 and PS4, is now coming to Switch. There's no date yet for that, but that was a game that I played through on PC. A friend of mine did the voice of your companion,
Okay.
Nice.
Fidget. So I try to back everything that she's part of, is because
Sure.
it's
Okay.
Absolutely.
it's fun. Next is it was a leak by Best Buy, I believe, that saying Netflix and YouTube apps possibly coming to Switch.
Yep.
And Reggie put out a statement earlier, I think today, saying that they are in talks with Netflix and YouTube, but they're not finalized yet. So sounds like they're coming, but it may be a while. My Hero 1.
Does anyone really want to watch Netflix and YouTube on this thing though?
I don't.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't either.
Yeah, I've got 50 other devices that'll do it.
Yeah.
Like I use my iPad, but I'm sure some people don't have as many devices as we do and will want to. You know,
Yeah.
people
Doesn't
watch
interest me,
Netflix
for
on the
sure.
3DS. I imagine the Switches would at least be a better performance.
I'm sure, yeah. But
You're not
I mean, I
watching
have
it
like
at 240p.
I put Hulu on there just for the heck of it, but like, I mean, I barely watch it. You know, I just use another device for that. So that's already hooked up to the TV, like a Roku player. So
Right. Well, while being able to play it handheld might be nice. I imagine that'd be a battery hog even more so than playing a game.
well, yeah. The problem is though too is that like while Netflix is on, I want to be playing the Switch.
Right.
So like I'll have Netflix on another device and then be playing the Switch like while I'm like passively watching something. So can't do that if you're watching Netflix on the Switch. So
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know.
yeah, some people want it though, so people use it, but yeah, I'm not interested either. So
Okay, so the next game, this is one for Roger. The game My Hero One's Justice is coming to all platforms, including Switch, in October. This is like the game based on My Hero Academia characters. So I'm interested in the show, not interested in the fighting game, but I know some people are. Sounds like none of you are either.
nope.
I hear crickets, so
Yeah,
Hard pass.
probably
hard
not.
pass there for me too.
All right. I think this is something I did mention yesterday a little bit, but I'll bring it up again. Hyper Sports R from Konami. You know, they decided to make things other than pachinko machines. Is coming for the Switch at some point. I don't think they released a date yet. This is kind of a spiritual successor to their old track and field games.
Nice. Yeah, the trailer they definitely hinted at that nostalgia. They definitely pushed that button in the trailer.
And I think it's funny because I've been kind of half joking for months saying that I want the track and field guy in Smash.
Yeah. Hey, if I can use the GameCube controller with Smash, I want to be able to use my power pad with this game. Okay, make that happen.
Though
I
I imagine though the big joystick fighting sticks might be a handy thing to have for a game like this. For
Probably
pushing
so.
the buttons fast.
Yeah.
And then the last two things I added, which we learned about today, is Arcade Archives Donkey Kong came out. Actually, we found out about these yesterday. No, it was this morning. So, Donkey Kong came out today, and another game, Sky Skipper, comes out next month. And I've never heard of Sky Skipper before.
Me either.
And they did talk about it on this morning's Treehouse, and that had an interesting story behind it. So, are you familiar with the history of the Donkey Kong arcade?
Briefly.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
So there was a space game that didn't
Yeah.
sell
Neat.
well.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the game. So they used Donkey Kong to reprogram the same hardware to make a new game. So Sky Skipper is kind of the similar story, but that's the game that bombed. And when Miyamoto made the new game on the Sky Skipper hardware, that game it was Popeye, which is I've been saying for months that I want that to come out as Arcade Archives. So if they got Sky Skipper, I can see Popeye coming in the future. Radar Scope. Someone Shell Shock Prime said in chat. Thank you.
I was just looking it up. So thank you.
Anyway, so
That's-
apparently
Radar Scope's
they only had like 10 Sky Skipper units that they put out in test markets to see how well it would do, and it just didn't do well. He didn't say what happened to 9 of them. I don't know if they just shipped them back to Japan, but Nintendo of America kept a unit, and it's in their vault or archives. And when NCL said, "Hey, we want to put this on, give the ROMs to this to Hamster to put it out as a game. Do you still have this machine we can dump the ROMs?" And they said, "Yeah, we can." So apparently they no longer even have the games themselves. They had to ask Nintendo of America to dump the ROMs and send them over.
Oh wow.
So, so Skyskipper is kind of a weird little game. I can see why it didn't take off, but it still might be something that I'd buy just to say that I'm playing Nintendo history. You're this biplane flying around. You have to try to collect these card, kind of like the good guys you collect are like a king, queen, jack, an ace, and then these other little things representing the card suits. You have to collect as many as you can. If you can collect like a 4 of a kind, you get bonuses, or like all the same color, you get a bonus, or one of each suit, you get a bonus. When the enemies are these creatures that kind of look like Donkey Kong, but not quite. So kind of other than that, it's hard to explain what you're doing without seeing it for yourself. So
Well, we can take a look at the trailer as well.
Yeah,
so.
go back and check this morning's. Yeah. I think they opened the treehouse with this. So
Okay.
Check the day 3
footage. Okay.
Treehouse stuff.
What else on that docket there, Jesse?
Okay, that's all I have from show notes.
Okay.
From E3
There-
notes.
There is some other things that were announced as well. Double Fine announced. There are 2 games. Shoot, they're coming to Switch. Double Fine Games. Something Grim.
Grim Fandango.
Yeah, Grim Fandango, and another game as well. They both announced coming to the Switch. Let me take a second here. Double Fine Games.
Broken Age Head.
There we go. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. But no actual dates on that one. But they announced those. Those are exciting. So very cool. All right, Jesse. What else are our notes?
Right. So other things that came up today, just from Treehouse's stuff, is Super Mario Party will have online play for a Mariothon minigame mode. But
This is interesting.
Not the main game, just this mode. But still, it's kind of interesting concept. It's like a group of people plays mini games, and it's also going to be played local multiplayer as well, just trying to outscore everyone else. So.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Like I think Nintendo's doing a lot with Super Mario Party, right? They've got their 2-screen patent that they're showing off there for the Toad Rec Room. They're going to try online for the mini marathon game stuff, plus the usual games. So they're trying to experiment with a lot there. I definitely agree that the actual game, the actual board game is not online friendly, I guess, necessarily. I would not want to do that online. Local is the best experience.
Yeah, I think they said the main game is not online.
Yeah, I'm still okay with them fiddling with this.
Yeah.
Cool, Zach. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that it's cool that they were able to implement some kind of online play. I mean, it makes sense, even though this is more of a local party game. But it's cool. It's cool they did that for sure. So
I really hope they are not hanging their hats on their online sales with this game in October.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
Like, could you imagine, like, hey, but Mario Party online, you better pay for that subscription fee, y'all.
Well,
No.
So I see people, like, a wave of people will sign up day 1 in September just for things like
every game we want to play online, like Splatoon.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not even talking about those, but like the cloud saves for initially.
Oh, yeah.
And then there'll be another wave in December when Smash hits.
Yeah.
But
I can't wait until people realize that with cloud saves, FYI, they're not saving everything that's on your device, probably.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to be picky and choosy. You probably get like 5 gigs, if that.
Right, because I know my son's Switch is getting the warping effect, and
Oh no.
it's like noticeably bad at this point. So we're hoping it can last long enough for him to do the backup of his saves. Then we can get, send it in to Nintendo, get a refurbished unit in response. Because I don't think they'll repair it.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
they'll just put a couple books on it and they'll just rebend it.
and then he can restore it. So hopefully it lasts that long.
Okay. So Mario Party, that's cool. That's cool news. What else happened here?
Okay. Koopa Troopa and Blooper are playable characters in Mario Tennis Aces.
Now they're playable, but they're playable as a download afterwards, right? It's downloaded in July and August, I believe.
That could be. I missed that.
Pretty sure that's it.
Okay.
Did we not already know about these before?
I don't think so.
I don't think we knew about those two.
Oh, okay. I thought we did. All right. Well, that's cool. Cool, Zach. Are you excited for Mario Tennis? Did you get a chance to play the demo?
Yes, I actually pre-ordered this game right after it was first announced in that first direct.
Oh, okay. So you're a huge tennis fan.
I am not, but
okay. You don't like short shorts and awkward headbands.
I do not, but it's just I do like sports games and like the arcadey tennis games. Like I've always been a fan of the Mario Tennis stuff, and it'll be something fun that I can play with my wife, so we don't just play Mario Kart all the time.
Sure.
And because she's not a big gamer, but yeah, I'm excited about this one. The only thing I've changed, the only thing the demo changed me on, was I canceled my physical pre-order and then I pre-ordered it digitally because it's a game that I just want to have on my Switch all the time.
Okay.
Play games. So.
Okay.
But cool. I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So I did not get an opportunity to play the demo at all. I was gone. I wish the demo had been longer than a weekend, so I could give it a shot for those of us who weren't available. As a person who's going to be trying it next week for the very first time, what's one tip you'd provide to me?
I mean, definitely do the tutorial if it doesn't make you do it, because some of the special shots and stuff, I mean, that took a little bit of getting used to with the timing. I really hope that this isn't a tip, but just kind of something I noticed, but it's the first game that I had any kind of problems with playing online.
Oh.
Like I've never had a problem with Splatoon. It's never lagged. I've rarely get dropped out of games. Mario Kart, same thing. But like this game definitely lagged, and maybe it was because so many people were on testing it out. But I definitely lagged, and in that game, if it lags and someone had just served, like good luck hitting the ball.
Okay.
But so I hope they fix that.
Yeah, there's kind of two things that I've heard that might be going on. One is, since it was a test weekend, it might have had extra debugging data in the packets, which won't be there in the production game. So that will help. And the second, I think I heard this from the Nintendo World Report, I think it was Guillaume, said he had a hard time when he was on Wi-Fi, but when he docked it and he has an Ethernet adapter, it did improve.
Okay. Yeah, but we shouldn't be making concessions about how we play.
I agree.
That has been dubbed to us.
Sounds like the Wi-Fi chip in the Switch isn't the best. They went with the cheap side. Just Nintendo's done this in the past as well. So that kind of and I have a feeling that if we have a similar situation with Smash, that going with an Ethernet solution might improve things. Though my son has found out the opposite is true with Fortnite. So it's not network based. He thinks the Switch has a hard time rendering the 1080 at 1080p. Because when he's docked, he has the lag, but when he's playing handheld, he's fine.
Yeah. It's I think with the Mario Tennis thing, I think the weird thing is that just like I mentioned, I haven't had any problems with Splatoon or with Mario Kart. So it's just kind of I'm sure that it was just part of the demo, but and I've noticed the same things with Fortnite too, and but Fortnite's one of those games like Epic is going to keep updating that game, so they'll work all the bugs out.
Yeah,
I'm totally confident in that.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I wasn't worried about that one.
Yeah.
just because it is updated so often. So yeah,
Okay. Speaking of Fortnite, that's probably a good transition to some other interesting news here. Fortnite has been downloaded over 2 million times in the first 24 hours from Nintendo, so not a huge shock there. I think if you were a person who kind of tried to hit the servers right at 10 o'clock, you're realizing you'd be waiting, folks. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter that, oh, I'm still downloading, still trying. On our show, we discovered that they had actually released it about 15 minutes early. It was already in the eShop, so people were downloading it as well. Zach, did you have any issues getting it downloaded?
This is actually a great transition into the next thing on the sheet, because I did not have problems downloading it, but I did have an extra wait when I went to log in and was told that I couldn't because I had originally made my account on a platform that was not supported.
Oh.
So that was a bummer. But other than that, I had no issue with getting it downloaded. And there were some matchmaking issues when the game first loaded up, but obviously, but it said on the screen, just log out, log back in, you should be good. I did that, and then I was able to play like 5 games. So
nice.
Yeah.
So you kind of alluded to this. So you played Fortnite on a different system. What system was that?
That would be the Sony PlayStation 4.
That's a new system, right? That's a new upcoming video game console.
Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe. But they had this little game called Fortnite, and I played it there.
Yeah.
So.
And then they just told you to get to jog on, essentially, hey?
Pretty much.
Cool.
And so that was really annoying, especially when I don't have like 50 email addresses, and I have one specific email address that I like to have all my accounts linked to. But I couldn't, so I had to use my work account, like my business account, for that email, which is really annoying because I don't want Epic send me a bunch of updates to that email. Like I can change that, but still, like I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And so a lot of fans began to sharpen their knives and pickaxes, began to light their flames in hopes to chase down the monster that is Sony. Lots of people publicly made a statement feel like this should not be happening. Jesse, can you kind of get us up to date with what happened with this whole communication with Sony, crossplay, all of this garbage?
Yeah, Sony has been blocking crossplay from the start. So they don't allow Minecraft and the Rocket League. Sony allows for PC, but doesn't allow Xbox and Switch. So this is more kind of the same thing, except for they kind of take it an extra step further, because now they're not, because these accounts that are not Sony accounts that they're blocking, they are Epic accounts that they won't let people use, and that's kind of brought more pitchforks and flaming torches involved in the conversation.
Yeah, like the thing I said, like I didn't really care about the blocked crossplay before because honestly I don't have a lot of gaming friends, so like it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But like when I can't use a third party account I made, like the analogy I made was that would be like if I opened a Gmail account on a Windows PC and then I went to log into that on my Mac and it wouldn't, and Apple was like, no, you can't do that because you made this Gmail account on a Windows PC. Like that's just stupid. And that's not a good way to treat your, the people in the community at all.
So my son has played it on the PS4 and he has friends who plays it on PC. So they were able to play together without a problem. But he had to create a new account for the Switch. But once he did, he's still able to play with his friend on the PC, but he had to do it with the new account, not the old one. So he wasn't too happy about that. So Sony does have a response to people complaining about it. And it's basically, we'll let you do it on PC and mobile. And the unsaid part was, screw Switch and Xbox.
Yeah.
Like this is, I mean, like I'll give you an example. Like I've actually thought about like buying Overwatch for PS4. I'm not going to do that now because if Overwatch ever comes to Switch, I want to be able to use my Blizzard account on my Switch. Yep. So like, why would I start any third-party account on my PlayStation by now? So sorry, Justin. I know you have something to say.
No, I mean, I think you're right. I was just going to comment here that I think from a public relations perspective, like this is not a smart move, right? And they really kind of flubbed the. And there's ways that you can respond here that are kind of acknowledging there's a problem and saying like, hey, let's see what we can do about this, right? But there's a little bit of this kind of like high horsey and attitude of like, yeah, that's not our problem. Too bad, right? We're Sony, we don't need to deal with this. And I think that, you know, the lot of the comments I saw online from, I mean, obviously your install base for Switch and Nintendo fans are smaller, but we also have to realize that these are most likely people who have two consoles in a household, right? Or potentially are in those situations. And I think that, you know, we are very very kind of tutorial fans of one thing, right? We live and die in those camps. And I think when a publisher or a company comes out and makes a statement like this, no matter how you feel, it lands somewhere with you, and it impacts your decisions. And I think cool, Zach, you're making the statement there of like, I may not buy Overwatch. I saw some other people say, you know, I was thinking about possibly buying a PlayStation in the coming months. This may actually deter me from not doing it.
Yeah.
So I think there's an underlying kind of hit there. And I think when you have a game that is as massive, you know, if this was like how to play solitaire online, it was like a very small install base and no one cared about the game, you might be okay to make this statement. But when you have currently the largest game worldwide with so much hype around it, and you're making this statement, any news is going to, you know, affect you. And I think that this is just bad PR.
Yeah, and I love PlayStation. I mean, like, I've owned all 4 PlayStation consoles. I went to the E3 event the other night at a sold-out theater. Like, I love PlayStation, and this really, like, I don't know, like, this really rubbed me the wrong way. And it's small. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a small thing. Just make another account. But it just like, why do that? You know, yeah. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, I was looking at the Sony stock price, and it took a small dip Tuesday morning, probably because that Monday night presentation, it ended well, but it started horribly.
It started really bad, yeah.
You know, it didn't really start until like a half hour after it started.
Yeah.
And then it took another dip this morning after the, you know, with the Fortnite stuff. So between, you know, the highest it's been in a week and what it closed at today, it's lost 3%.
I mean, you know,
which is pretty significant for stocks.
When you're a publicly traded company like that. I mean, you know, you can live and die by horrible decisions and stock market fluctuations, right? Based on communication. So, I mean, you think about Nintendo. I mean, remember when Pokemon Go came out and everyone immediately was like, Pokemon is a Nintendo thing, and the stock went shoo up the roof, and then they were like, someone's like, actually, it's not, and it went shoo right back down a bit, right?
Yeah, and the downward, not expected. You know, that's the market fixing itself. You know,
right?
Yeah.
So here's a little bit of I want to share a bit of a Fortnite, and actually maybe I'll ask both of you because Jesse, you're not playing Fortnite though, but Zach, cool Zach, you know, hence your name, cool, are cool enough to be playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
How do you? And I'm a Fortnite noob. I played it once on my mobile device before getting on the Switch, so I have zero in this skin in this game at all. How do you figure out who is on your team and who is not on your team when you're like on 50 versus 50? I don't know who I should be shooting at. I want to.
So the people on your team will have a little white arrow over their head.
Okay.
And the people who are not on your team, you just have to spot them, like they don't have anything. So and I don't know if you've played any solo games yet, but you'll see that when you play solo games, like when you see people out in the field and stuff, they don't have any. I mean, it's just a person running around.
Okay.
So
there's no indicator, no like name, no marker, nothing.
I'm trying to think back and think if there's a name or anything, but I don't think there is anything like that.
I feel like this is something that Fortnite Epic needs to make the switch. If you are on Team Blue and you jump out of the thing, your name should be blue, and if you're on Team Red, it should be red, or indicator should be red, so that you can know who's who.
There is some kind of indicator when you are out jumping out of the plane or the bus. Yeah. But it may still just be that arrow, but it might have their name too. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's the thing is I'll come into a spot and I start shooting at people and then like they're not taking any damage. I was like, oh, my bad. But I just wasted bullets for shooting you for oops.
Your team definitely has a little arrow, like an upside down triangle above their head. So, but then everyone else who's not on your team, you just have to spot them, which can be a little bit tricky on the handheld screen, but
right. Okay.
but yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, I had to laugh when we downloaded Fortnite on the Switch, my daughters, who I don't know how they found out about Fortnite or knew about it, literally yelled for the kids in my estate to come over and watch Fortnite on the screen. So all of a sudden, I had like 3 additional kids sitting in my living room as my daughter loaded up Fortnite to play it. She had never played Fortnite her entire life, but all she knew about Fortnite was the dancing emotes.
Yeah, I saw the video you put out.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And the biggest thing is they're like, can we come in and show, Ruby Fortnite on the Switch?" And I'm like, well, "Sure, I guess." But it's such a weird phenomenon of a game.
It is. It's a weird phenomenon, and it's an interesting business model because they are cleaning up with a free game.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
And that is the thing, right? You look at it, you're like, this is really, you could keep playing and not have to pay a dime for this thing.
Nope.
But you're absolutely right. They're making bank,
Yeah.
right, on it. And I think, when it's a free game, I think we all get to a point where you're like, it's a free game. I will throw some scratch at it because I have got said value out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I could see myself doing that at some point.
Yeah. And I think that's a very interesting model. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's probably our Fortnite news. What else is going on here, Jesse? We talked a little bit about this Xbox YouTube and Netflix thing, right?
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Okay.
Then
one other note I put in here as well: Steamboat Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan, has funded via Kickstarter. That just funded yesterday or the day before. This is a game that has very much of an art style of Cuphead. So this looks really cool. I know I ended up backing it. Cool, Zach, did you back this?
I did not. I looked at it and I thought about backing it, but I did not end up backing it.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks cool, but it's one of those things where I think I kind of want to wait and see, and may end up just buying it straight out when it comes out.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Jesse, anything else in our docket?
that's all I had.
Okay. Should we, before we start busting through some of these questions, should we talk about the elephant in the room, which is Smash? And cool, Zach, your comment of like none of us like Smash.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about it now? And I guess I don't know. Cool, Zach, I want to hear your thoughts on Smash.
My opinion really hasn't changed. It's one of those things where like I never played the game growing up. Like I never. I had a Nintendo 64, and everything, and I remember when the game came out, but it was just nothing I was ever into, and it's gotten to the point where you kind of alluded to this, where it's so competitive now that I feel like if I try to get in now, I'm just going to get slaughtered online. Yeah. And it feels like one of those games I would rather fighting games like are made to play on a couch sitting next to a friend, and I don't think I don't have any friends that are going to want to play Smash, and there's a place down the street from me, this big arcade with like 300 arcade cabinets and all this stuff. And they do tournaments, but like, if I go there and play with these like 15-year-old kids, I'm going to get smashed, no pun intended, So for me, I could end up being like you, Justin, and be sitting here saying now I have no interest, but then when everyone starts talking about it in Discord, I might be like, oh, I have to go get it now. Yeah. So that could end up being me, but like, it just doesn't, like, fighting games in general just don't really appeal to me anymore. It was way different when I could walk down to my friend Johnny's house and, play Street Fighter or whatever, but it's just not that way now. It's not as fun playing those games online.
Yeah, I do. Like I said before, I do think there's this association that we have with the game. I think especially Smash, where, and I mentioned before, I was actually mentioning I was on Barry Dunn's podcast, Nintendo Impact Gaming, that I think people have such a, I think people of our age or of a certain age have that's a Guinness Cup too, by the way. Good for you. I like that.
I was wondering if you were going to notice that.
There we go. You got to try this if you ever hear Hop House.
I definitely will. I want to come over there for sure.
But I do think of a certain age have this fantastic association with Smash, right? Yeah. I make the joke of like sitting in your basement eating Doritos and drinking Crush, and maybe sitting in your dorm in early university and playing Smash with everyone, whether it's GameCube or N64. But I think there's a fantastic association. I'm glad that people have these memories, much like I have these memories with games like Donkey Kong Country. But it's in that memory that I think is what creates the excitement and the hype. The like sit to your point, cool Zach, the sitting on the couch with your 4 mates or 3 mates playing it, right? And staying up till all hours of the night. Or I think that's what makes it. And I think when you and I mean, I think to your point, when you are maybe you don't have as many of those friends in the same area, and you don't have the same group, that all of a sudden becomes an isolating experience, right? I'm sure Smash would be fun. I'm sure if the 3 of us, and we'll bring in Marty because he's cool, all sat around on a couch and got together, ordered some pizzas, had some beers, and had Smash, we'd have great fun.
That would be fun. Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
Awesome. But sitting here in my living room by myself on maybe a headset, it just doesn't feel the same.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
And to your point, cool Zach, I'm sure that I will absolutely probably end up picking this game up, right? And the reason is, and this is the part of it is, and to your statement is, because the people in our Discord, the people in our community, our Patreon supporters are going to be playing it, and we're going to want to play online games together. So I know that's going to happen. I'm not kidding myself. I know I'm going to buy it, right? But I know that here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to be good at it. I'm not going to enjoy the same level of hype as everyone else is for the next 6 months about, oh my God, did you see Kid Icarus's final Smash and the rendering models? Oh my God, an up, down, BA? What? That's amazing. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be like, huh.
Yeah.
If you change the colors, he's purple.
Yeah. What do those percentages on the bottom of the screen mean?
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand how to get back here. Right. Yeah. And so it'll be in my consciousness for like probably a couple of weeks. And I'll be honest, I bought it on the Wii. I bought it on the Wii U. Right. I know I'll buy it on the Switch, but it's one of those things that it's just and it's not that I hate it. It's just that I know I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that other people are happy at it. It's kind of like to your point, Mario Tennis. I have never played any Mario Tennis games ever. I have zero skin in the game, if you would, for that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm happy that it exists. I'm happy that other people are happy for it. I'll give it a crack, right? But I don't know if it's like, that's not like I'm hanging my hat on that level of hype.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally get it. And I think to your point, I think that growing up with it especially makes a big difference. Like I mentioned earlier, like I have the same thing with Pokemon. Like I never owned a Game Boy. I was probably more like lame Zach and had a Game Gear. So
yes, we are now nicknaming him Lame Zach and Cool Zach. Can we make those changes in the Discord app like officially so we can actually like fully rename that? Tim, I know you're listening. Can we do that? Can we fully rename someone?
Yeah, Tim, please do that if you can. So
I love Tim.
But yeah, so like I never had the Game Boy. I still have my Game Gear. I found it in a box a couple months ago. But yeah, so like I just never got into Pokemon, and I am somewhat like interested in the new games, but like it's like I'm coming in so late. I'm just like I don't know. So
yeah,
but that's kind of how I feel with Smash. So
yeah. Fair enough. And I know that Jesse, I mean, you've got a couple Smash tattoos on your body places. So I know you're a massive fan.
I do?
No. But your son is excited. Your son is excited for this, though, right?
He is. He is excited for it.
Can you sit down and do a bonus episode where you record him and you talking about it? I'd love to hear his hype. I mean, I've met Matthew.
Problem is, we already had the conversation and it went unrecorded. I didn't realize till after the fact. I'm like, oh, I should have recorded this crap.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
But
I mean, there's no doubt Nintendo hung their hats on Smash. From what I saw for top 10 games of the show, it was definitely up there. Not a huge shock, right? A lot of EA IGN and GameSpot and them have named it.
I saw a graph of like I don't know if it was Twitter mentions or other just social media mentions in general, and Smash was second by a small margin. Trying to remember what was first, but things like Battlefield 5 didn't even show up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That was the amusing part.
Fair enough. All right. Well, should we jump into what we've been playing, shall we?
We shall.
Let's do it. All right. Cool, Zach. Let's start with you, sir. What have you been playing?
Well, I won't talk anymore about Fortnite just because we've kind of already hit that, but I've definitely
Yeah.
been in and out of that. I've been playing Hollow Knight.
Ooh,
I
how
haven't.
is that?
It is awesome. That's one that I've been very, very excited about. I don't know, like I've just had my eye on that game for a long time, and when it kind of hit, I just like when I started seeing it, I was like, oh man, because I love. Sorry, Marty, I'm gonna say it, but I love Metroidvania games.
Nice.
Like this one definitely appealed to me. And it's got such a cool art style. You know, it looks like Tim Burton made a Metroidvania game. Like that's pretty much what it looks like. It's got a really cool art style, great soundtrack. It runs great. I'm not, I'm old school, man. Like I love the Super Nintendo and stuff. So like, for me it was like the whole like 16-bit versus 8-bit. Like I'm not into this whole like does it run at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second? Like I'm not one of those guys. But this game does run at 60 frames and like smooth, and you can tell, and it's amazing. It's a blast. I'm not that far into it. But I was really stoked yesterday or 2 days ago when they said available now. Like I almost jumped down my chair. So
Nice.
that one's been really fun. So other than that, I've also been playing, and I believe that Lame Zach talked about this game a few weeks ago. But I've been playing Battle Chasers Night War.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and really, really enjoying that. It's funny. I've up until recently, like I actually turn-based RPGs never really appealed to me for a long time, but I've just been in this kick lately where like that's all I've wanted to play. So I've had a lot of fun playing that game. It's really good, and I'm going to try to finish that before Octopath comes out. So and
Nice.
Octopath will. I'm seeing the reports that it's probably going to be a 100-hour game. So I'm sure that one will keep me busy for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are the main games I've been playing. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff but those are the main ones I've been. I'm really bad about like choice paralysis and putting too many games on my Switch, and I'm trying to be better about like getting through that backlog and focusing on just a couple of games at one time. So
I actually hear the choice paralysis. I looked at my screen recently, and from this EA week, I think 5 new games hit my dashboard. One of the nice things I tried doing is in April. I think it's because the Labo stuff was coming out, and Nintendo
yeah,
had
you
nothing
did the
big. Backlog
yeah.
attack, and,
Yeah.
I'd recommend trying to find a month where there's nothing that's coming out, or really just dedicate yourself of like regardless of what's coming out, I'm going to take a month. I'm going to try and clean out some of these things.
Yeah, I've
because,
actually been pretty good about that lately. Like
really,
I've been pretty good about not buying new stuff and just trying to work through some stuff. But then Hollow Knight comes out and Fortnite's free, and I'm like, ugh.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, those are the main 3 games I've kind of been playing through. So
Nice, cool.
yeah.
Jesse, how about yourself?
So I put more time into the Pokemon Quest, as you so kindly put it in the tweet last night.
Yeah, for those of you that did not see the tweet that we sent out, Fortnite is like, I look into the corner and it says 14 friends are online. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what everyone's playing. And when you go and there's like the row of like 5 people per row.
Yeah.
I have Jesse as one of my best friends, of course, on there. And I take a photo of these rows, and everyone is playing Fortnite minus Jesse. And what's he playing? Pokemon Quest. Pokemon Quest. Everyone else in the world is playing Fortnite. Jesse's playing Pokemon Quest.
Another free game though. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
everyone was playing free games. So
Yeah, so I did throw money at it to buy the additional like maximum capacity for energies, the additional cooking pots, so I can summon additional Pokemon to my camp, and other add-ons. So I've gotten pretty far into the game. I'm kind of stuck right now on the boss of area 9 and area 10-5, which is at the level before that boss. So I'm able to spec out my party to have like 11 or 12,000 energy, and then the level bonus for that type adds about 50% more, and it exceeds the recommended value but I still can't beat it because most of my party has all their points in attack and very little health. So if they die in 2 hits, I can't attack when you're stuck in your Pokeball. So I've got to figure out what other ways to work around those. But I'm having fun with it. And then earlier today, I did play, and I did a live stream for about 45 minutes of the Arcade Archives Donkey Kong. I started out in the caravan mode, which is you play for 5 minutes, and when you're done, then that's your score, and then you compare it with everyone else who's done it. And I was surprised at how few people logged their score in caravan mode. Like my initial game, I was 30th. I'm like, 30th place. That's not bad. Yeah, 30th out of 31. So I'm like, so I had to play it again to get my score into the 20s at least. And that was playing the international version of the game. And then I did the same thing with the Japanese version of the game. And there was more people who registered the score, but still less than 100. I ended up getting like somewhere in the 30s or 40s, I think. Then I played like the regular mode of the Japanese version of the game, and I got like 400th place. So that's where everyone's playing. People are just playing the regular game, not the caravan mode. So the one thing I didn't realize about Donkey Kong is there are 2 versions that were out in Japan. They call it the original version, which apparently has a major bug in the program that if you do something right, you're able to skip the barrel stage, which the 25 meter is probably the most difficult of the 4 stages. So if you're able to skip that, you should be able to score up pretty quickly. So I want to find out how to do that and try to see if I can figure out what needs to be done. But they have then the normal Japanese mode, or Japanese version, which has that bug fix. That's the game most people in Japan have played. And then the international version is the version that's out in North America. The main difference being the order of levels. In the Japan version, they have all 4 stages, 25 meter to 100 meter, even at level 1. But in North America, they have the barrel stage, 25 meter, and then it goes right to the rivet stage, which is normally 100 meter, but that's the 50. And then level 2, it adds in I forget what they call it, but it's basically the level with the lifts. And then level 3 adds in the cement factory stage, which again is a stage that I've known about, but I literally have never played it before because I could never get that good. So So playing the Japanese version, you play that stage in level 1 at 50 meters, so I'm able to play it real quick, relatively easily, and that's probably the easiest level of the 4.
Fair. Okay. Cool. So you're enjoying it so far?
I'm enjoying it so far. I'll probably play a little bit more at it. Just like the Mario Brothers game, it'll lose its charm relatively quickly, I'm sure. But it'll be something I know I'll go back to from time to time.
Yeah.
Because
cool.
Each game plays really less than 10 minutes just because I suck at it.
All right. Okay. I have been playing. Thank you, Jesse. I have been playing Fortnite, as mentioned. Spoiler alert: I kind of suck, and the only way that I am winning any of this is the fact that I am literally the last person, one of the last people in the match, because I've been running. That's basically it. It's not because I've been really good, not been hiding or skillful. Just everyone else happened to die before me because I had a better team. So yay for mediocrity. I have also been playing Shaq Fu, The Legend Reborn. We received a review code for that a week and a bit ago, so I've been playing that. And I'm happy to report it's still fun. It's definitely, if you kind of like that side-scrolling beat 'em up game, it's a great addition. It's relative. I think it's like $15, which isn't too bad. still drawing me back. The storyline is absolutely ridiculous, as you would expect. It's over the top campy. The voice acting, I mean, it kind of knows exactly what it is, right? With this kind of the campiness and style of it, but it's fun. Frequent enough checkpoints that you can literally just pick it up and play for 5 or 10 minutes and be done with it. Loading screen at the beginning is a bit long, I would definitely say that, but it's interesting. And if it's a game that you're interested in, I did a Let's Play, and it's going to be posted on our YouTube channel later today, Friday, so you can check it out there. But those have been the games that I have been playing, and kind of the game of E3 is really what I have been playing. So that's about it.
Go watch some YouTube videos on Fortnite for beginners. It'll help out a ton.
Okay. Yeah, so. I'm getting a little bit better at building. I'm still trying to just remember which controls I need where and when.
Yeah.
But it's that's a good idea. So Fortnite videos for beginners like that.
The first thing my son told me to do was look at the mini map, see where the white line is, and start heading in that direction. Because if you don't,
that's fair.
Because if you don't do it right away, you're going to get wet, and that wet hurts you.
Yeah, you're gonna learn real fast. Jesse, let's jump into our postman, shall we? We've got a fair bit of tweets and other questions are brought in.
Yeah, it started out. Oh, here, let me make room for a bumper. 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, so this started off with one person sent a tweet and asked a question. I'm like, oh, that sounds like we can do this for a whole segment, because I didn't see any other emails at the time.
Sure.
So we'll start at the top. We have Cassian Reality asks, do you think the Miiverse stage will be in Smash?
I would probably say not, because the Miiverse stage required output from the Mii doodles and stuff, right? And they've shut down the Miiverse.
Yeah, they said that every character that ever existed would be in the game. They said nothing of the sort for stages.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, good question though. What's next?
Okay, Michael Burgett says, in honor of the release of Mario Tennis Aces, what is your favorite Mario sports game of all time?
Cool, Zach. What do you think? What's your favorite?
Mine is actually probably one that has been super popular among Discord lately, and that's Mario Golf World Tour on 3DS.
Ooh, yes.
I love that game, and I was really excited when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it popped up in our Discord chat and everyone started playing it. I was like, oh, okay. Let's just pick out this 5-year-old game and all start playing together. That sounds awesome. And I was excited. So
yeah, okay. Jesse, how about you on that one?
I'm probably going to say the same thing. I'm not a really fan of sports games in general, but I do like. I have had a history with the golf games that I've enjoyed. I think it might have been the NES Tournament Golf, or maybe one of the games on the Super Nintendo. I forget which one, but I remember once I rented a golf game from the local store, and I ended up getting a score of 2 on a 5 par. And I was just amazed at myself. So I think they called it an albatross.
I don't know if I have a favorite Mario sports game, so I'm going to say Wii Sport. Wii Sport is my favorite sports game.
You didn't play Strikers on the GameCube?
I never owned a GameCube.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, right now, the golf thing is my favorite right now. But you guys both took that one, so but yeah, I would probably say Wii Sports would be mine. What's next?
Okay, Grills Von Sizzle.
Oh, that's a great name.
That's fantastic. I like that.
I like this question too.
With all the progress made with respectable third parties, are you guys surprised there wasn't at least one big third party reveal? After months of rumors about Fallout and GTA, I was hoping for something. And the something I was hoping for was the Arkham series. Well, they tried Arkham with Wii U, and that just bombed on multiple levels.
Yeah, and there's no way I could see the newer game, Arkham Knight. Like maybe maybe Grills Von Sizzle. Sorry, I said say that name. is talking about like the games are on the last gen, but like there's no way they're going to get Arkham Knight running on the Switch. It's too big of a game, and I just couldn't see them getting that one running. But yeah, Fallout and GTA though, those are games that I definitely think they probably could get running and have been rumored. So that was a little disappointing to me.
I think the problem with games like that will be file size.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, probably more of GTA than Fallout, because if they can get Skyrim to run and with no download, they can get Fallout 3 to run. Maybe not Fallout 4, but I mean, anyone who's played those games knows that Fallout 3 is superior anyway. So, but GTA, I mean, we already know that, Rockstar had to do that with LA Noire, which is a much smaller game than GTA 5 would be. But I mean, I think a lot of people would take the extra download though to be able to play GTA 5 on
Skyrim is almost 15 gigs.
It's a big game, yeah. But it's on the cart and it runs really smooth. And I bet they could get Fallout 3 down to the same size, because it's a very similar game graphically. So
right.
Yeah, I have nothing additional to add to this. You guys have both kind of summarized it very nicely, actually. So
I wish they would have announced more third-party stuff. So that was disappointing for me. So
for sure.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that Nintendo didn't announce, because that's not what
but anybody
does, right? But I'm actually still surprised, even though they weren't big games. The list of things that other companies mentioned about the Switch was bigger than I expected. The stuff we talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Okay, Tim Off says, "What did you predict for Nintendo's E3 show that you are the most disappointed didn't happen? For me, no Metroid Trilogy Remaster or Metroid Prime 4 talk. I still give the show a B, though."
Sure. I think for this one, Tim, I would agree with you as well. I'm disappointed that we didn't get anything on Metroid. But there's also two other things I'm slightly disappointed in that they could have just given us a little bit of a teaser of. All I needed to see was a bit of a teaser load screen for Pikmin 4, and I think you need to do something for Animal Crossing. And I know that I'm a person who kind of bashes Animal Crossing and thinks it's trash, but I think there's a huge fan base there. I don't think it's trash. I just give it a hard time because Josh is in the lobby. But I think there's a huge fan base there that really wants to know that you're making Animal Crossing.
Josh was actually participating in the chat during my Donkey Kong stream too.
Yeah. I think there's a huge fan base there that you kind of need to show, like just a teaser or something, some kind of basically very similar to the screen that you did for Metroid. I think you need to do that for Animal Crossing and Pikmin 4, and I think you needed to show Metroid footage in some capacity. I think those were really, I think had they done those three things, I think I would have definitely changed my rating scale. Cool, Zach, how about you?
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 would definitely be the top of my list for Nintendo stuff. I was really looking forward to seeing some of that game, seeing some footage, and so it was kind of disappointing they didn't show that. And then kind of what I alluded to earlier, like I would have actually liked to see some more third-party ports, again, specifically that Fallout 3 that was rumored, but that's my fault for falling for the rumor mill. So I'm not going to blame that one on Nintendo. But Metroid Prime 4, that one would have been good to see. So
yeah, for me, I think Pikmin 4. I was hoping to see that. Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I think we talked about this yesterday. I'm not surprised we didn't hear about Metroid Prime, just because I don't want Nintendo to do what Sony has been doing and what Square Enix has been doing the last few E3s. And I want them to stay the way that they have been with keeping things within 9 months. So I'm okay with them not talking about it if things aren't ready. This isn't something I'm necessarily disappointed in, but still surprised, is the delay of Yoshi.
Yeah.
With how well their little presentation looked last year, I expected the game to be further along.
I've heard a couple of things on that, and they could have just been rumors and innuendo, but there was one that was saying that they I guess they're making that game on the Unreal Engine, and maybe the Nintendo folks were kind of having trouble with that. And because I guess maybe they're not used to really working with that engine. I don't know. But I
That
also
is a
heard
weird
thing-
call because they are so good at using their own engines.
Yeah.
Why would they use a middleware?
And another thing was that and this probably is a rumor, but that Smash ended up being so big that they actually were pulling people off other projects to help finish Smash in time. I doubt that one's true, but possibly.
I
mean,
actually
I
believe
don't-
that's true. That
Yeah,
sounds
maybe
like
that one is true. Yeah.
that does sound legit.
Or maybe a combination of the both. You know.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that one was definitely a weird omission, especially after they showed so much of it last year during the Treehouse. So that was a little weird, but
Right. Okay, next is from Turbo Jesse. Nice name. Last year, Nintendo had a big direct in September. Do you expect it to happen this year again? And what two games that were not at E3 do you expect to see? Which I think rolls back to the last question.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
Sorry, go ahead,
there's
Jesse.
going to be one. There'll be one. Well, last year I think they had one like in early July and September.
yeah.
So I expect there to be at least one, if not both, again this year.
Yeah, the one they typically do, and they do a big one in September. And again, I think this is where people, we have to mitigate our expectations. I talked about it on our show yesterday about just because Nintendo didn't say it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just means they're not announcing it here. Reggie's come out and said the exact same thing as well, as we have more to talk about this year. They typically do a big direct early September post PAX West Nindy showcase stuff. They typically do stuff there. There will be probably a direct in July, probably near mid to late July. I also wouldn't be shocked if you hear some odd, large communication come out in July from Nintendo as well regarding, so for example, look for July for them to probably announce if they're going to do a Classics edition this year. That will probably be when they're going to make that announcement, and possibly a short direct in July and then a large one in August. So I definitely do expect that to be another one as well, especially as we're getting closer to the online service. You're going to want.
that's what I was gonna say. Do you think they would do a direct before or after that launches?
They're going to do it.
Like-
they're going to do it
Well,
before.
they have to do it before because they still need to spell out like what are the 10 NES games they're giving us. With the
Yeah, but they
with the
could
subscription.
just drop that on the website though, like they did in May. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think that's poor taste. I think people like to see videos show up, not just here. Check the website. Here's a press release.
I don't. What's weird to me is like I know a lot of people are wanting more information about the online, but like I don't like what else is there for them to really announce and show. Like I mean, I don't know what people's expectations are of what this online service is really going to be beyond what they've already talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
only other unknown that I can think of are which games do we get to play with
Yeah.
our subscription.
But do they need a direct for that? Maybe
Probably-
they do. Maybe so.
probably
Maybe I'm
not,
wrong.
but-
Not
people
not
want
a
it.
dedicated one, no, but spend 5 minutes on a larger direct, sure.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So
Absolutely.
right on.
Okay, Charles asks, were we disappointed that the E3 Direct was only Smash?
Slightly.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think we talked about it yesterday too. I think they spent more time than they should have on Smash during their 45 minutes, where they probably could have spent it better talking about the other games. That the 4-minute sizzle reel, and they talked about 20 games.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say not really because I expected it.
Yeah.
So expect them to focus on Smash. So
It's fair.
Cool.
Okay.
all right.
Anti's Glitches, I think that's how that's pronounced. And why do you think Nintendo chose September for their paid online service with seemingly no major first-party online game coinciding with it?
That is the interesting question.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, because when they said online was starting in September, I presumed, okay, that means Smash was going to be September.
Yeah,
And
I think
now we know
everyone
it's
did.
not.
Yeah.
For them to unless they've got something hidden up their sleeve, they're gonna say, and it's out today. to align with that, I don't know if they've made the most compelling reasoning. Now, I guess the argument could be, well, if you want to play Splatoon, you want to play Mario Kart, you want to play tennis, you want to play ARMS, and maybe you want to play Fortnite, you got to be online.
Yeah.
Fortnite, maybe not, because I don't think you need like PS Plus to play Fortnite on Sony.
Okay, like maybe that's their argument, is we're just going to hold our hands that way, and then of course in December you get Smash. But it is very odd to not have something assigned with it, I guess.
While that line of thinking is logical to us, because we know how that works, I think a lot of the people will still be upset when that happens. And we'll probably, as we talked about Sony, we'll probably might see a percent or two dip in their stock prices at the end of the month.
Cool, Zach. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. I mean, especially since it was kind of assumed that Smash was going to launch, but at the same time, like for me personally, like I play Splatoon, I play Mario Kart online, with my sister who lives in Oklahoma, and so like I it's $20. So like to me, like that at the end of the day, like I think that it's good. That's a very low barrier to entry, especially when I'm used to paying $60 for Sony. Yeah. Now, of course, that comes with big game. Like you get the 2 free games every month, but like I don't know, like I think that what they're doing here with the retro, the NES games and stuff, like is cool. And I don't know. I don't think that it's weird, but and I'm with you, Justin. Like I don't know what could they have up their sleeve at this point, like that they could drop. I mean, that we wouldn't already know about. So it's weird, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to be buying it day one. So
yeah, we all will be, right? But it's just it's kind of like from a marketing perspective, you'd want something to help accelerate those sales. But I mean, the moment, I guess the argument is the moment that Smash hits, that will be the acceleration of it for sure.
Absolutely.
Right. So maybe it's like, hey, let's use a couple months just to make sure we're good here before. Because I mean, could you imagine if they launch the online service and it's not working proper?
Yeah.
And you launch
maybe that's the answer.
It may be mitigating risk to be more than anything else.
Yeah. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe they want to give it a little bit of time first. So
yeah.
Does Pokemon have any online play?
Yes, and I think when Pokemon was originally announced, or the Eevee Pikachu versions were originally announced, there was talk that it wasn't going to require the online subscription. Then a week later, they turned around and said, yes, there will. So, yeah, you can do online trading and online battles with friends and randos.
The more I think about that makes logical sense. Because if you launch the service the same day as Smash and the service isn't working or isn't working properly,
we're going to have a SimCity situation.
You are going to, from a marketing PR perspective, have a nightmare on your hands. So if you can launch it in September with the catalog you currently have of games like Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, Tennis, ARMS, whatever else, and allow almost like debugging for 3 months prior to Smash, you're mitigating risk essentially, but
that might be the answer.
Smarter decision.
Yeah.
I think we just talked ourselves into it.
I think we did just talk ourselves into it.
I agree. I like this. This sounds logical.
Yeah.
Right.
The other reason is they just may just be too busy with other stuff.
Yeah.
And what's our last question?
Last question, and here's another name that's interesting: Crimson Skidmark.
Oh, jeez.
Can we please discuss what the physical version of the Torna Xenoblade DLC includes? It's a bit confusing, and yes, it is.
I think Crimson Skidmark might be lame, Zach. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
That feels about right.
Xenoblade.
Oh, jeez. Do you know much about this one, Zach? Or sorry, either of you? I'm gonna go to the PR kit.
I do not. I do not know. Jesse, do you? You seemed confused too.
I'm confused. Yeah. When I first saw this announcement, I just figured, oh, this is just DLC, just like every other DLC.
But apparently, you can buy it like a separate game.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump into the Nintendo PR release on this game and see what I can get. How's that sound?
Yeah, so it sounds like the cart. They are selling a retail version of it that is just the DLC content, still not the full game. So it's
But someone in our Discord though was saying that you don't have to own the full game to be able to play this DLC, which was really crazy.
Okay, so here it goes. Yeah, available as DLC in the expansion pass or as a standalone retail version.
Huh.
Let's see.
I think
here we go. Okay, retail version. New to the story, get the standalone version. Does not include the main Xenoblade Chronicles 2 game at all. The retail version contains download codes for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Expansion Pass. The Expansion Pass is only playable on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, game sold separately.
Mm.
So you're not actually getting a cart, you're just buying a download code?
It sounds like it. Retail version contains download code. No, hold on a second. Oh man, this is confusing. Okay. The retail version contains a download code for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Expansion Pass. The Expansion Pass is only playable with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the game sold separately. So there is an Expansion Pass. Now the expansion, let me read the Expansion Pass, shall we? Already into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, add to your adventure with the Expansion Pass, which includes the Tour of the Golden Country. Consumers who purchase the Expansion Pass will get all DLC content included in this title. Consumers who own Xenoblade and the Expansion Pass do not need to purchase the retail version. Okay, that does not help at all. So apparently this is part of it. If you already had the Expansion Pass, you get this normally. But what they're saying is because you buy the code for the Torna, the Golden Country, you also get a copy of the Expansion Pass. However, the Expansion Pass can only be used with Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
So the game is still standalone, but if you don't...
The game is still standalone, but they also give you and by the way, here's a code for the Expansion Pass that you can use for additional Xenoblade Chronicles 2 content. But by the way, you do need to visit the actual game.
But if you bought the game and already bought the Expansion Pass, you get this DLC anyway.
Correct.
So it sounds backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a way, it sounds like you're right. I mean, it's kind of not good it's kind of screwing the people who already committed and bought your expansion pass. But if you're one of those people who hadn't bought it, you can get it. That's totally weird. That's so weird.
Well, no, hold on a second, though. Let's think about it. If you've already bought the expansion pass, you were already getting this DLC.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, okay, so never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
See how confused I am?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, what?
They should have used all this time in the direct on Smash to explain this.
A flow chart, a couple flow charts on how to figure this one out. I don't know if that helped you at all in your question there, Crimson Skid Mark. But it does sound like there's a standalone retail, and you do get a code for the expansion. I think ultimately what Nintendo is saying is, by the way, you should buy the game. But in all fairness, like I wasn't a person who jumped into Xenoblade. This may be a good spot for me to jump in because it's a prequel. It's 500 years beforehand. So this may be a good starting point. So I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
And Shulk's in it. So if you've played the first game, you at least know a character.
I haven't played any of the games. So okay. What else do we got? Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right. So I do want to read a post that was sent in to us by Dan Kerpella from one of our Patreon supporters. I want to read this because this is absolutely fantastic. He said, "So I wrote this poem after the E3 Direct for my podcast that launched today, but I thought the dads would appreciate it. Feel free to read it on the air if you like. My podcast is called The Nintendo Show." Okay, so if you want to check out Dan's podcast, it's called The Nintendo Show. Check it out. But here's how it goes. 'Twas the night before E3 when all over Twitch not a streamer was playing, not even on Switch. The predictions are told by podcasters each year in hopes of a new Animal Crossing would soon be here. The fans were all nestled, snuggled in their beds while visions of Metroid danced in their heads. The mama soundly sleep and I with my Switch had just settled our brains for a big E3 pitch when on my laptop there arose such a clatter I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the browser, I flew like a flash, my heart beating quickly to see more of Smash. Then what in my wondering eyes did appear? Why, it's Xenoblade 2 DLC for this year. Then this old Reggie, Pokeball in hand. Let's go Eevee and Pikachu, looking quite grand. Then Mario Party, my breath it did still. Then what was up next? Why, a game sizzle reel. Now Fortnite, now Overcooked, now Ark, now Sushi Strike. Oh, Hollow Knight, oh, Starlink, oh, Dragon Ball Fighters.
This is
For
beautiful.
the Fire Emblem to the Captain Toad, now Paladins, Wasteland, FIFA, and Dark Souls. And then in a twinkle eye, it's Sakurai talking Smash. Then the end? This must be a con. As I drew in my head, all the fighters appear. Down the list go, wait, are they finally here? Do the ice climbers finally climb from their grave, leaving no one alive? Roads of bodies they pave. With vicious shots, Samurai gives a cheer. Everyone's in it. Yes, everyone's here. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. All the games of the past seem so ordinary. There's GameCube controllers and Ridley to boot. My eyes watered up at the sight of this loot, but I heard him exclaim on his big, bright, wide screen, December 7th, 2018. Fair done. Well done to you, Dan.
That was very awesome.
That was amazing. I
think
feel
you
like
like Smash.
Yeah, that is, I think, definitely a big Smash fan. Fantastic. And Dan, thank you for being a Patreon supporter. Thank you for that. That is absolutely fantastic. And guys, check out the Nintendo show. So yeah, well done. Thank you, Dan, for saying that in. I feel like maybe I need to re-record that somewhere. Maybe we could try and actually put the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" beats behind it. So that's absolutely fantastic. All right, Jesse, anything else we got to do?
There's one thing I wanted to mention. I wanted to mention it the last 2 weeks and I always forgot.
Okay.
So, remember last year when there was rumors of the Super Nintendo Classic?
Yep.
I asked for people to give me like a list of like 3 to 5 games that you'd wanted to see on it, and I compiled it, and we compared that list to the real list, and I think we got like 12 games out of the 21.
Okay.
I started a similar poll for the N64 Classic in case that gets revealed.
Okay.
So
cool.
We already we had a polling cycle with our patrons, and I had a YouTube video put out there and got several responses from that. But we never talked about it on the podcast, where most of our listeners are. So for the next few weeks, feel free to send us which games you'd like to see on an N64 Classic. Try to keep it to again 3 to 5, so we don't get. You can't just say everything. That's cheating.
Yeah.
And then I'll compile a list. And some of the games that already has come out are games I completely forgot about. So we already have like 40 games listed, which is
nice.
Almost I think more the games that we had for this than when we did the Super Nintendo poll.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Nintendo handles the N64, because that is going to be licensing nightmare.
That's kind of what my point is. It seems like they can only put about 8 games on this thing.
Yeah.
And
who likes Wave Race?
Yeah, 10A snowboarding would be cool, but you guys have said it. We're not going to get GoldenEye and all that stuff.
No.
And the wrestling games, No Mercy and all that. So it's I think this is the system that people think they want, but when they get it, they're going to be like, oh. Yeah,
it's not going to be as good as that memory really holds.
Polygons do not age well.
No, no.
My son has done some speed running of Mario 64 and other games.
Yeah.
If this is a thing, I can't wait to see him being able to do a speed run using a real N64 controller.
Yeah, that'll be the other thing. It'll be interesting to see how those controllers get produced and how many are included and where to buy them if they do it.
Right.
So
no kidding.
That will be a death match all into itself, by the way, to try and get those things.
Because even though he may like the Wii U version better than whatever or the interface, because he plays the Wii U version a lot, that controller will be compatible with the Wii U.
No,
if they keep the same port, which I'm hoping they do.
Yeah. Cool. Before we go, cool, Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself. What can we do? Where can we support everything you do? You always got some awesome stuff on the docket, as I recall.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't do anything video game related, so I don't have like a cool video game podcast or I'm not Josh Thomas.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'm a fiction author. I write like science fiction and fantasy stuff, mainly post-apocalyptic. I mean, this is what I do full time, so it's my job. If anyone wants to go check out any of my books, you can just look up Zach Bohannon on Amazon. I also, if you are someone who happens to be a writer, I do a lot of I do some like writing retreats and stuff like that as well, and help put on some conferences and stuff. So but yeah, my website's just zachbohannon.com.
Nice.
And you can go there and kind of get all the information there. So and I have my own podcast called The Career Author, which is a podcast for writers. So
Nice, awesome. I presume available on iTunes and all those good places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yep. Now, Zach, so if someone's going to your website and they're looking to pick up a book that you've written, what is one that you would maybe say, like, where's the best? They're all good, I imagine, but like, what's the one that you would recommend people start in with?
They're not all good, actually.
Okay.
There's some earlier, funny enough.
So help us avoid the bad ones, shall we?
Yeah, funny enough, the ones that I couldn't go back and read now are the ones that sell the most. But
okay.
But my probably my favorite thing that I've got out right now is there's a series called Final Awakening. The first book is called Dawn, and that's probably where I would start. I actually have this big. I've talked to some video game companies about trying to adapt that into a game. Haven't gotten anywhere yet, but like it would definitely be good for especially like a side-scrolling action platformer. So, nice. So Final Awakening, first book's called Dawn, and it's available on Amazon. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and cool, Zach. Thanks for obviously being a huge Patreon supporter as well. You are so active in our chat, and I know you've been doing some content creation for us as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. So thank you, and thanks for jumping in. And now officially, again, as I have dethroned the title upon you of being Cool Zach, I expect that will now sit and be fit for everyone, and that the other Zach will now be known as Lame Zach. So this is fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I got to meet Marty last Saturday in person.
That's right.
Him and Brian from our Discord chat. We all met and had some hot chicken here in Nashville. Kind of timing worked out, and it's kind of fun. I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is a lot of fun.
No worries. That's fantastic. That looked like a great meetup.
It was a lot of fun. So Marty kicked our butts in Mario Kart. Brian was gone at that point, so I can't. Him and his wife were gone, but he kicked me and my wife's butt and his wife's butt. So, it was a lot of fun. So
that's awesome.
Marty's just as cool in person. So
I know, probably not. Like, let's be honest about that.
It was a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you guys for having me on tonight and thinking about me. This is awesome.
So you're saying if I want to kick Marty's butt, I'll have to play something like Donkey Kong?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
probably. Yeah. I hear he doesn't really care for Donkey Kong. So.
Yeah, I hear he's a Donkey Kong hater. If there's anything you take away from any of our shows, Marty hates Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
That's all you need to remember.
He likes to kick Donkey Kong's butt right off lists.
Exactly. So. He does. I will never forgive him for that. All right, guys, we're running the show. Let's finish this off. Big thanks to our huge Patreon producers. That's Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberg, and of course Timothy Alf. Guys, thank you so much for being Patreon producers. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone who is supporting us in Patreon, but big shout out to our Patreon producers, of course. If you want to support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads. Send us a bit of scratch to help keep this show ad-free and keep our lights on. If you want to follow us, head over to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's very simple. Type in Nintendo Dads. You will find us instantly. We own the space in all of those. We put lots of posts up there behind the scenes at Nintendo Dads HQ. posts, from videos that we've created, opinions on whatever we have, or sometimes just slagging off on someone. So check those out as well. If you want to send in emails to us, go to nintendodads@gmail.com. We are on Twitch at twitch.tv/nintendodads. We have a YouTube channel, by the way, and we're very excited to announce that we just cracked over 1,800 subscribers. So if you would like to add your name to that list, head on over there to YouTube, click that subscribe button. We've got tons of videos that go up. Last month alone, 27 videos went up. So that's one almost daily. I don't know any other podcasts that are doing almost one daily. Maybe Game Explain, but you don't need to really listen to those guys. Just kidding. If you want to call in, leave us a voicemail, 92925-NDADS or 929-256-3237. We do have some sweet Nintendo Dads merch. You can head over to tinyscc.nintendodads store, all lowercase. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music that you've heard out throughout the show. Big thanks to Carter Johnson and Adam Leonard for their amazing artwork that we use as our title screen as well. Of course, if you want to check out this podcast, head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course, VG Tribune. For myself, for Jesse, for Cool Zach, for Marty, and for Lame Zach. Thanks very much for listening to Nintendo Dads. Bye-bye.